Are you worried about how to bring your summer plants back indoors without losing them? In this video, I'll show you exactly how to check for pests, adjust them gradually to lower light, refresh the soil, reduce watering, and keep them safe. With a short quarantine. You know, every year when August comes to an end and the nights start to feel cooler, I get this little twinge inside. I look around at all my plants that spent the summer outside, soaking up the sun and breathing in the fresh air, and I realize it's time to bring them back indoors. This moment always feels special to me. On the one hand, I'm a little sad to say goodbye to the warm summer evenings on the patio, when my flowers seemed so alive in the breeze. On the other, it feels like tucking my green friends into a cozy, safe space for the colder months ahead. Back when I first started doing this, I made every mistake you could imagine. I would rush and haul everything indoors at once, only to watch the leaves turn yellow and fall off. Or worse, I didn't check them closely. And along with my plants, I brought in a whole family of pests, aphids, spider mites, even ants. Believe me, there's nothing worse than noticing fine webs on your orchids a week later, all because I skipped a careful inspection of one hibiscus. Over the years, I've built a step-by-step routine that helps me transition my plants safely, and today, I want to share it with you. 1. Check for pests before bringing plants inside. This is the most important step. In the USA, it's very common to keep houseplants outside all summer: ficus, hibiscus, succulents, monstera, you name it. But by late August, they've been exposed to every bug out there. So I grab a magnifying glass, flip over the leaves, and check the soil surface. Sometimes you'll see tiny insects, other times sticky residue. If I notice anything suspicious, here's what I do. Leaf wash, mix 1 teaspoon of mild liquid dish soap like Dawn in 1 quart 1 liter of lukewarm water. Spray the leaves thoroughly and wipe with a soft cloth. This suffocates soft-bodied pests like aphids or spider mites. Neem oil spray. Combine 2 teaspoons of neem oil concentrate with 1 teaspoon of dish soap in 1 quart of water. Shake well and spray on leaves, both top and bottom. Neem oil is widely sold in USA stores. Brands like Boniti Neem Oil or Garden Safe Neem Oil Extract. Soil drench. If I suspect pests in the soil, I use a diluted solution of hydrogen peroxide, 1 part 3% hydrogen peroxide to 3 parts water, and pour it into the soil. It helps kill larvae and fungus gnats. Fungus prevention. A light sprinkle of ground cinnamon on the soil surface works as a natural antifungal. For a store-bought option, a product like Boniti Fungonal can also help. These simple treatments, repeated once a week for 2 to 3 weeks if needed, usually clear up any problems. Before the plants come inside. 2. Gradual adjustment to lower light. Think of it like how we adjust to changing seasons ourselves. We need a transition period. Plants are the same. If my ficus was out in full sun, I never move it directly into the middle of the living room. Instead, I first place it in a shady corner of the porch for about 4 to 5 days so it gets used to softer light. Then I carry it inside and set it right next to a bright east or south-facing window. Only after 10 to 14 days, once I see that the leaves are holding steady, do I shift it deeper into the room if I need to. This gradual shift prevents shock and leaf drop. For more sensitive plants like hibiscus or crotons, I sometimes stretch this adaptation over 3 full weeks, moving them step by step further from the window. If you want an extra safety net, you can use a sheer curtain indoors to filter the sun, simulating the dappled shade they had outdoors. Grow lights. LED panels or clamp lamps from brands like GE Grow Light or Barina can also bridge the gap if you don't have enough natural sunlight. The key is consistency, small moves every few days, rather than one big leap from bright summer sun to a dark corner, which almost always causes stress and leaf loss. 3. Repotting or fresh soil if needed. I don't usually do big repotting projects in the fall because most plants are slowing down their growth. But if I see roots circling at the bottom or pushing through the drainage holes, that's a clear sign it's time. In that case, I gently move the plant to a pot just one size larger, about 1 to 2 inches wider in diameter. Using too big of a pot can actually stress the plant because the soil stays wet for too long. If a full repot isn't necessary, I refresh The top 1 to 2 inches of soil. I scrape it off with a spoon and replace it with a fresh mix. For most houseplants, I like a blend of 2 parts high-quality potting mix like Miraclegro indoor potting mix, 1 part perlite for drainage, and a small handful of horticultural charcoal to keep the soil fresh. This simple refresh removes mold spores, fertilizer salts, or hidden insects and gives the plant a burst of new nutrients. For plants that love rich soil, such as hibiscus or ferns, I sometimes mix in a tablespoon of slow-release fertilizer, granules like Osmocote Smart Release plant food into the fresh layer. For succulents or cactus, I prefer adding coarse sand or pumice instead to keep the soil dry and airy. Overall, the goal is to make the plant comfortable for the months ahead, either with a gentle repot or just a refreshed soil layer, depending on what it needs. 4. Reduce watering frequency. This lesson took me years to learn. Indoors, water evaporates much more slowly because there's less heat, less air movement, and no direct summer sun. In summer, I was watering my geranium almost daily, but once it's back inside, once a week is usually plenty. Some succulents or cacti may only need water once every 2 to 3 weeks, while thirsty plants like ferns might still need water every 5 to 6 days. Here's what I do in practice. I stick my finger about 1 inch 2 to 3 centimeters into the soil. If it feels dry at that depth, it's time to water. If it's still moist, I wait a few more days. For most medium houseplants like ficus, hibiscus, or peace lily, I give roughly 1/4 to 1/3 of the pot's volume in water, just enough for a little to drain out from the bottom. I always empty the saucer afterwards to avoid root rot. For orchids, I prefer the soaking method, placing the pot in a bowl of water for 10 to 15 minutes once every 7 to 10 days, then letting it drain thoroughly. Succulents and cacti get only a light drink enough to moisten the soil every few weeks. If you want a little extra precision, inexpensive moisture meters brands like Zlux or Soncure, available on Amazon and in garden centers, can help avoid both under- and overwatering. The golden rule remains: less water, more observation. Always let the soil guide you, not the calendar. 5. Quarantine new arrivals indoors. I know it may sound odd after all, they're all my own plants, but this step has saved me countless headaches. One year, I brought in a beautiful hibiscus and set it right next to my other plants. Within a week, whiteflies were everywhere. Now I always place new or returning plants in a separate area for at least 2 full weeks. Ideally, I use a different room with good light, but even a corner away from the main collection works. During this time, I inspect the leaves and soil every few days with a magnifying glass. Wipe leaves weekly with a neem oil solution, 2 teaspoons concentrate plus 1 teaspoon dish soap in 1 quart water. Water them separately so runoff doesn't mix with my other plants. If I notice any pests, I treat them immediately and restart the quarantine clock. Some growers even extend the period to 4 weeks for sensitive collections. For those who prefer ready-made solutions, products like Boniti Systemic Houseplant Insect Control Granules added to soil or Safer brand insecticidal soap leaf spray are reliable options in US stores. This little extra patience means I can protect my whole collection from outbreaks, and it gives me peace of mind before reintegrating the plants with the rest of my indoor garden. And then there's light and humidity. By early September, I always set up my grow lights. Orchids, ficus, and even hibiscus respond well to 10 to 12 hours of supplemental light per day. I prefer full-spectrum LED grow lights such as GE Grow light bulbs or Barina LED panels, which are easy to find in US stores. I position them 12 to 18 inches above the plant canopy and use inexpensive outlet timers so the plants get consistent cycles. Humidity is just as important. American homes can become extremely dry once the heater or AC runs, sometimes dropping to 30% or less. Most tropical houseplants thrive closer to 50 to 60%. To help, I run a small cool mist humidifier. Brands like Levoit or Honeywell are reliable. In the plant room, if I don't want to use a machine, I set bowls or trays of water filled with pebbles near the plants so the evaporation raises the moisture around them. Clustering plants together also creates a pocket of higher humidity, and I sometimes mist sensitive species like ferns or calatheas in the morning with plain water. The goal is balance, bright, steady light, and a comfortable humidity level that prevents leaf crisping, bud drop, or spider mite outbreaks. Fall is really a turning point for houseplants. Growth slows, they rest, and they prepare for winter. Our job is to make that transition gentle, not stressful. For me, it's become a ritual. I brew some tea, walk from plant to plant, check their leaves, talk to them a little, thank them for the summer, and promise to care for them during the colder months. There's a kind of magic in this. While the trees outside drop their first leaves, I'm building a little green sanctuary indoors. And every year, when I see my plants settling in happily, I feel a quiet joy and the reassurance that I did right by them. So my best advice, friends, take it slow, be observant, and give each plant a little extra care as you bring it inside. If you check for pests, adjust them gradually, refresh the soil, reduce watering, and mind the light and humidity, you'll have a smooth, successful transition. And when winter comes, your plants will reward you with healthy foliage, new shoots, and maybe even flowers that brighten up those cold, dark days.